Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. And today we are going to be talking about something that I am very much looking forward to jumping into. Um, Over this last week, it's been just all sorts of stuff going on, but there was something that stuck out to me that just captivated me as a small business owner myself, as somebody who's getting out in the market, starting to gain market share and really wanting to do something powerful. I have been just absolutely captivated by what is going on with Deepseek. And today, what I wanted to do is talk about what Deepseek is, like what they did that was different, and how you can leverage that for your business startup. Because look, I think we just saw one of the biggest prime examples of a startup just absolutely disrupting the marketplace, just changing everything, changing the rules of the game basically just by existing and getting out there, which is amazing. It's a lot of fun, a lot of really cool, just a lot of really cool things that have happened with it. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to talk about like some of the strategies that we saw that Deepseek used and how it relates to you as a startup, how it relates to you as a business owner, and what you could do for it. I don't have a lot of screen sharing that I'm doing today because this is very much a just interactive. This is more of just my discourse on modern events. So we're gonna have some fun with it. But if you're not familiar, let's catch everybody up in the conversation. So what Deepseek is Deepseek is an AI model, and it's an advanced model, and that really it just launched. Let me pull it up here. And the beauty of Deepseek. So if you're not familiar of what's been going on with Deepseek, Deepseek launched with a $6 million startup cost. So $6 million with an M, not a small number. You know, something that you would look at and go, okay, that's a good size investment. They took 2 trillion with a T, with a capital T, $2 trillion worth of market share away from ChatGPT, NVIDIA, like all of these major tech bro companies. They came in and just wiped the board with them, took $2 trillion out of market share. And it's fascinating to me because what they did is so genius and is so brilliant, because they didn't like go at it the same way. And like they didn't just go at it and go, oh, we're going to make a different type of cheeseburger and use a different type of cheese. I'm going to I'll explain kind of a little bit of what they do. But the first thing I want you to what I want you to see is, like, if you go to deepseek.com and you take a look at their website, you take a look at what they've done, you'll be able to see what they've oh man, my video hasn't started on Facebook yet. Let's see what's happening. Oh well, you guys over on YouTube can hang out with me. Our Facebook people can catch up here. But what Deepseek has done that was just absolutely fascinating to me is that they were able to come in and capitalize on something that was already there, but just being a little bit smarter in how they rolled out and how they developed their technology, which is brilliant. So like if you go down and look at, if you compare it, you can see like their their language models, they're at 88.5, ChatGPT's at 87.2, Llama 3.1's at 88.6. But all of these numbers, they're dwarfing almost all of the competition and most of these numbers and most of these categories. But even the ones that aren't, they're still outperforming them. Now, the reason that actually, let's flip back here. The reason that I have that this was so captivating to me is not necessarily the fact that a company could come out and disrupt the markets, disrupt the industry. Like, I don't want to see anybody lose money like that. It was the way that they did it. It was how they positioned themselves, and their model for how they rolled out was just absolutely genius. So To help explain it, if you're not familiar, if you haven't been following the story, let's just put together a nice little diagram for you. So currently, if you're using with Chat GPT, um, we'll just label this. We're going to call this Chat GPT. What Chat GPT did was they came out with the AI. They came out with everything that needed to be there, and they were like, okay, this is cool, no problem, no worries there. But what Chat GPT did is they tried to wrap around everything that they need to make their product successful inside of one unit. Meaning that what's happening with Chat GPT is that if you go there and you're looking for a contract, and you want to develop a contract, it gets funneled inside of here. And so Chat GPT needs to understand how a contract works. Now, if you switch over and you go, hey, okay, now I need to create an email. Now it's going to more of a marketing specialty. So now it's jumping over to the marketing side, but it's still using the same resources as Chat GPT. Now, the reason that Deepseek was so disruptive is very simple. What they did is they went, hey, you know what? Our overall model, our base level here is much smaller. But instead of having to teach our primary model everything that we need to know, what we're going to do is we're going to break this down into smaller modules. So if you go to them and you need a contract, it's going to come over here. If you need marketing and you come in and you need a marketing email, it's going to come over here. So on and so forth. Like you could say, I need a recipe, and that's going to be segmented in a different area. So the difference between what's happening with ChatGPT and Deepseek is that Deepseek took the exact same concepts, but instead of trying to make one product that encompassed everything that had to be programmed and is continuously running, they made these smaller modules that would segment off of their main module. So they've got their main parent up here, that is basically like holding all the functionality, like, hey, if it asks this, then direct it over here, or if it needs this, then direct it over here. So they grabbed all of this, and sorry, I'm making sure, I'm seeing if our live video is actually going. Man, it's not. Facebook is not liking me today. Oh well. So what they're doing is they took all of this information and they started segmenting it. And the beauty of it is that now, instead of everything, all of the hundreds of millions, billions of requests going through one module, now you've got smaller segments going through each module. Meaning that if I come in and I'm writing an email, instead of pulling from the master module, the one thing that's there, it's pulling from the smaller module, meaning that it's taking up less energy. The reason that Deepseek was so disruptive wasn't because it just like revolutionized AI. It effectively does the exact same thing. Like I sat down when I was putting together our email to talk about it. I put it out there. I just tested it. Like I've played with it. It's not any different than Chat GPT and how it functions. Even the look. I mean, like, look, this is exactly what Chat GPT does. I mean, it's called a spade. It looks like an AI platform. So it didn't just completely scrap everything, but what they did is they went about launching it smarter. So now with all of these modules, instead of having to use all of this energy and this cost of sustainability to keep this one model up with billions of people using it, now they have these smaller modules which take less energy, and the cost was like 6 million opposed to even the $500 billion infrastructure that our government's looking at passing now for it, with Stargate. So like they just came in and just completely revolutionized and basically I'm not going to say crash the market, but they were able to come in and completely disrupt everything simply by being smarter about how they were operating. Meaning that instead of them feeling like, oh, we've got to have everything in this one module and everything needs to be there to be able to launch, they were like, let's just put it out for marketing. And then if people start asking about legal issues, if they start asking about recipes, if they start asking about history, if they start asking about this other stuff, then we're gonna let the language, or we're gonna let the models start learning from there. So basically, like what it looks like, and I know because I sit beside my wife when she's perusing Chat GPT at night. But basically, what they did is they came through here and they figured out that, like, look, we don't have to have everything done at right out of the gate to be able to compete. Because when you feel like you have to have everything completely locked into your business, what happens is you create a Chat GPT. You're spending so much time working on your primary module, on your primary product, because it's this big all-encompassing thing, that you're missing all of the other things, when some of the things may not have been needed to be built out. Like ChatGPT was originally was early adopted mostly by businesses. So having to go in there and write out learning for history and recipes and like maybe stuff that's more household related wasn't really as big of a need, but they still felt like, because there was a little bit of demand, they still had to go through, put all these energy resources and put all their time. Where Deepseek came in, and instead of trying to make everything here, they were like, they created a module that's like their learning module. Basically, I don't know the exact language of it, and I'm not an AI expert. I'm sharing with you what I've understood through the business models of how they've worked. But basically now they've gone, oh, okay, we have a request for something. We don't know about recipes. Send it up here. Let it learn. Let it search the internet, get the information that it needs, and then let's kick out the result down here. This is such a brilliant model for launching a business. This is such a powerful a model for how us as startups, for us as small business owners, can get out and really start to explode our growth. Because what this means for us is, instead of let's just copy. We're just going to copy and paste this. We're going to come over here and we're going to make our real life example here. So now, instead of us having to come down and create our all-encompassing business and everything tied into this one module, now we can come out here and go, hey, what's our core offer? And then from here, now, as you get the demand, now it gives you the ability to go out and start developing the different areas of your business. Use the Deepseek model. If you're not getting demand, like, let's take an example. I'm going to use Profit Lifter because that's what we do. So our core offer is our CRM platform, the fully automated CRM, AI powered, all that fun stuff. So when we launched, we just focus on that. Like, let's just get this here. Let's get this moving, because we didn't have demand in these other areas. So instead of having this need to go out and build everything and perfect it, now it gives you the ability to go, oh, we have people asking specifically for websites. Oh, now we've got people specifically asking for advertising. And so now, instead of having to put all of this together and launch with everything intact and trying to roll out like we're this big baddie, now we can go out there and go, hey, look, here's our core offer. Here's what we do. Here's how it works, how much it costs. We're generating revenue. We're getting market share. Not only are we generating revenue and getting market share, but we're also figuring out what is most important to our client base. What is it that we specialize in, or that we can bring to the table that our leads, our clients, our people are looking for? And so having a segregated model where you're able to come through and start working through these different systems goes such a long way for your growth. So if you take the Deepseek model, what you're doing is figuring out first and perfecting what is our core offer. What is having everything in order, having everything right there. And then from there, as the demand starts to kick in, now you start adding things. Now you can go, oh, websites and advertising, no problem. Blog, no problem. Social media posts, no problem. Because now your core offer is in place, and now all of these profit maximizers that stack on top of your core offer are able to one, increase the value of your core offer, but the second side is that it allows you the ability to perfect this, then roll it out without having to compromise on making money. And the reason that I'm so not, I'm not going to say excited. I'm not like, Deepseek is great at, like, they did a great job with their launch, getting everything out there. But the reason that this has sparked so much interest with me is that I look at this model and I look at what they did and realize, you know what, they didn't just completely revolutionize the AI industry. I mean, they did to some degree, but it wasn't this revolutionary concept of, we're just going to change everything. But they gave it familiarity. It's understandable. But what they did is they made a better way for it to function. So at the end of the day, what happened is this $6 million startup was able to come in and just and capture $2 trillion. I just just mind blowing. So take $2 trillion out of market share because of a startup that was only $6 million, meaning that they just figured out a way to do it better. They figured out a way to make it more affordable, meaning that businesses who want to implement AI and they want the open source and they want to grab it, take it, put it on their own platforms, this makes this affordable now. They solved one problem. They solved one problem and were able to disrupt the market so severely that it caused basically like just nationwide panic there for a while. But that's the power of disruption. But it's also the power of segmentation, because again, if you can come up with your core model, like what is it that you do that you're just absolutely great at, that nobody else can really capture, like figuring out how that works, how it's going to be implemented, and then taking that concept and then building out your modules around it, get you to the position, one, as a small business owner, you're not exhausted. Because look, I'm guilty. I'm a visionary. I see things and I'm like, oh, we could do this and we can go here and we can add this and we can do this. And like, it's very easy for me to start building in such a way that the product gets away from the capacity. But taking on a segmented model like this, where you can just start grabbing the little things, will allow you to stay more focused. It will allow you to generate more revenue as well, because now you've got your core offer that you're out there, that you're bringing to the market. But now when you start adding all these other modules on, it's going to do two things. One, you're going to attract new people. But the other thing is that people who have already engaged with you that maybe didn't buy, actually it's going to do three things. People who didn't engage with you that weren't ready to buy are going to look at it and go, oh, well, now it makes sense. That was my missing key. Or now it's worth more. Now it's more valuable. Okay, it makes sense. But the third thing it's going to do is it's going to make your existing clients happier, because now you're finding a way to take care of their needs by offering these different segments, these add-ons, these bolt-on strategies into what you're doing. So that is the reason that I'm loving this, loving what Deepseek is doing. One, it's something I've been telling you guys for a year now, is just saying, like, look, get your primary offer down, master the way that Brett, my partner, and I like to talk about this is I tell him, like, we're McDonald's. Like, before we come over here and we start making Big Macs and quarter pounders and filet of fish and McRib, we need to make cheeseburgers. Like, this is our cheeseburger. Our core offer is a cheeseburger. Let's master cheeseburgers so that when somebody orders a cheeseburger, we don't even have to think about it anymore. And then from there, now we can start expanding out. And if you look at any company, any major company that has really brought a massive amount of market share, that has a lot of market share, they all follow this model, except for ChatGPT, which I understand. I get it. Like, it's AI. Nobody knew what we didn't know what we didn't know until we got into it. But the beauty of their model and what Deepseek has done is, instead of putting all the pressure on their core product to have to build that out and to constantly be changing it and to constantly be updating their core model, now they've got all of these modules that if something needs tweaked, they don't have to tweak the entire system. They just need to tweak this module. And so what I'm going to challenge you with to disrupt your market is a few things. One, is your core offer in place? Do you have your core offer set up in such a way that you don't have to really think about it? Oh, sorry, that was the wrong one. There we go. Do you have your core offer set up in such a way that you don't have to radically think about it? You don't have to get out there and go, what am I going to do? How's it going to work? How's it all going to fit? If not, focus on your core first. Get your core model locked down. Get your core automations, your SOPs, your systems, everything else that's out there, everything that's around it. Get that locked into place. And then from there, start strategizing, going, okay, what are my modules? What can I add on? What's my Big Mac? What's my quarter pounder? What are the upsells? What are the things that we can add to our core offer that's going to increase our monetization, increase our market share, and really help us get to the next level of where we need to go? When you start segmenting, this is going to do a lot of things. One, it's going to leave what's working intact. It's going to make it so that you're not going out and reinventing the wheel, constantly changing your primary offer. You've always got a cheeseburger. Cheeseburger's always there. You're always flipping the same burger. But then from there, now you can start figuring out, what are my add-ons? How can I partner with other companies? How can I take something that we're already doing for ourselves and implement it for our clients? These are all the things that you could be doing in a way that really just it will strategically add to it. And the nice thing about it is that instead of having to come up with everything all at once and having to do this mad rush and maybe spending years trying to develop it out, now you've got the ability to come in, create your core product, start monetizing, get yourself to a place where now you've got money to invest in your modules. The other thing that I'm going to challenge you with is this: figure out what is important to your market. What are people looking for? What do they need? What do they want? What can you add on to your core offer that's going to change the way that they interact with you? This is going to go a long way with your current audience. It's going to go a long way with your clients. But this is a smarter way to go about it, because now your core offer should just be on autopilot. You shouldn't have to worry about how am I going to send it over? How am I going to do this? Who's going to do this? It's done. You've got it locked in. You got it in place. Now you, as the business owner, as the leader, can turn your attention to these other revenue generators and start figuring out, how can I plug this in? How can I add this one product to my core offer and tie it in? You can take your time. You can really take the time to make this fit everything that you're doing. And so be thinking through, what are my add-ons? What are my profit maximizers? How can I lift my profits by taking these add-ons and putting it on top of my core offer? The other thing that I'm going to challenge you with is this: the reason that, again, the main reason that Deepseek did such damage to all the other companies that were out there was because Deepseek figured out a more efficient way to be able to do essentially the same thing. And so when they figured out that efficiency, they were able to tie it into all their other modules, all their add-ons, all the other things that they're doing. So what is it that you can do to maximize your efficiency so that you don't have to spend trillions of dollars to operate? You can spend millions. Or to put it in startup terms, instead of spending $100,000 to launch, How can you launch with 1,000? How can you, instead of you having to drop $1 million, how can you drop $10,000 to build your core offer and then start stacking all this other stuff around it? Then be strategic on how you're going to implement all these other areas into your business. That's what I want to challenge you with. How can you be more efficient? How can you do a better job with something that's out there, especially if you're in a market that has competition? I mean, all of us really have competition, but what can you do that's going to be different, that's going to be more efficient, that's going to save you time, save your clients, just make it so that it's more consumable and easier for everybody to adopt. Because the real reason that DeepSeek took this kind of market share wasn't because wasn't because of this model. This model made it more affordable and made it more scalable, that made this adoptable for everybody to use. Like I've seen, like when I was studying this, I was seeing people who were just downloading the DeepSeek open source onto their computer. Okay, let's put this in perspective. We are trying to invest $500 billion, $500 billion into supercomputers, quantum computing to be able to power the AI. They figured out how to do it with a computer, meaning that like it's just mind blowing. It's just astronomical, like how much they save. Meaning that what can you do to make it so that more people can use your system, to use your core product? How can you make it more consumable in a way that makes it so that it's attainable by the mass markets instead of just maybe the segmented ones, instead of just a couple? So that's it. That's my rant for the day. I just, like I said, DeepSeek, I like fascinated. Like anytime a company comes in and disrupts something like that, disrupts the marketplace, I love them. Like I love disruptors. I love people who come in and just go, let's kick the whole system up. Let's just have some fun here, and really just come in and have and do something that just changes the dynamic of how people interact with it. So my last bit of encouragement is this: look, you can be the disruptor in your market. If you disrupt the market, if you change the way the game's played, you will gain so much market share so much faster than anyone else that people are going to have to trip over themselves to keep up with you. So what can you bring to the market that's going to change it, that's going to disrupt it, that's going to make people go, oh man, I like, that's going to make your competition look at you and go, okay, we're in trouble now. Now we've got to really get to the drawing board. And that's how you win. Like disrupt the market, gain market share, offer a better product, and be more efficient on how you roll it out. So thanks for hanging out with me today. If you guys have any questions, anything you'd love to add to the conversation, throw it in the comments, throw it in the chat, and I would love to hear from you, hear your thoughts on it. Tell me what you think of DeepSeek. If you've had a chance to use it, let me know your thoughts on it. If you're implementing some of these strategies, share them. If you're not in our group, jump in our Facebook group and come chat with us. We'd love to hear from you. So until Friday, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you later.